How's it going, everybody? It's Keenest Fox here today. This is my channel where I talk about anime, video games, and cartoons, most notably Sonic and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And today, if you haven't read the title of the video, you already know I'm talking about Sonic for the most part. But yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna be talking about Amy Rose and stuff because there's been a lot of people who've been saying that IDW Amy has been like a ripoff of Sally Acorn from the Sadie M and the Archie comics and stuff. So I wanted to actually debunk that because I feel like this topic is very exhausting or annoying for the most part, and I think it's just I don't know, but I'll talk about that in a second. But anyways, so let's get into it. All right then. So before I start talking about some of their debunking the whole thing, I'm actually going to start talking about some of the differences and the similarities between the two characters because I feel like they do have a lot in common, but then they also have their differences, being their own unique characters and all. So let me start off with the differences. So first off, Amy has powers like super strength, speed, and extrasensory powers. Basically ESP, so she can do stuff like turn invisible. She has a little telepathy here and there, etc. So Amy can do stuff like that. Whereas Sally's kind of at a peak human level and whatnot in terms of like skill, like strength and ability. And then I would say she kind of has some some like really good agility. So there is that. Amy's a hedgehog, Sally's a chipmunk. Amy is more independent, and then Sally's more dependent. Amy's a better cook. Sally isn't a good cook. Sally is royalty. Amy's not. Sally makes tougher calls. Amy follows her intuition. Sally has blue eyes. Amy has green eyes. Sally is older. Amy is younger. Amy generally wears skirts, whereas Sally wears a vest and shorts. And Amy is just more feminine than Sally. And when I mean by like more feminine, I would say like, well, I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, so those are some of their differences. So what are some of Amy and Sally's similarities? And so like, what do they got in common? So the obvious being that they're both in love with Sonic the Hedgehog, of course. That's a given. Then they have two rabbit best friends and stuff that are both yellow. Like for example, Sally's best friend is Bunny Rabbit and stuff, where Bunny is a yellow cyborg rabbit, and Amy's best friend is Cream the Rabbit, which is yellow rabbit that can fly. They both have friends that are artificial life, basically kind of like inorganic, I guess, like Nicole and Amy's friends with Gamma stuff, robots and stuff, or Nicole is kind of an AI. But yeah, and then and not to mention they also have two feline friends as well. Like again, Nicole, she's a lynx, and Amy's friends with Big the Cat, so there is that. They both lead groups like the Freedom Fighters and the Restoration. They both have shoulder length hair. They're both very agile and athletic. They both love birds and nature. And they're both tomboyish. And they both have the letters of A in their name and then a name that ends in Y. They both have primary colors that consist of red. And hell, even at one point, Sally actually has pink fur at one point. So there is that. So what I mean by like they're both tomboyish and stuff, because Amy has been described back in like I want to say Sonic Jam to be a little tomboyish as as a Rosie Rascal, and she still is kind of. But I would say like on the like level of tomboyish for Amy is that Amy's like kind of like Sailor Jupiter. If anyone watches Sailor Moon, because I do, Sailor Jupiter is one of my favorite characters and stuff. And I would say that a lot of people like the thing about Sailor Jupiter about Makoto is that Makoto, she's a type of like she's a tomboy kind of girl. She gets into like a lot of fights and stuff, and she was known like I think she got kicked out of some schools because she used to be get into some fights, and she's actually tougher than a lot of grown men, including like punks and gangsters and stuff like that. But deep down, like Makoto is like probably the most feminine out of her friends and stuff. She likes to like cook. She likes gardening. She dreams of like having a wedding and all that stuff and getting married. That's kind of the stuff, the kind of stuff like some of the Amy's character. So that's what I mean by feminine. Whereas Sally kind of just doesn't really think of all that. But yeah, that's just me. And that's what I think about some of their similarities and stuff and their differences. So next up, I would be talking about Amy's history and her development and all that stuff and how does that amount to and stuff. So yeah. All right, so I'm gonna start talking about some of Amy's history and a little bit about her development and stuff. I'll talk more about her development later in this video, but right now I'm gonna kind of focus on her history as a character and stuff, just to give you a clear idea how much of a character that Amy's not a ripoff or a clone of Sally. But anyways, yeah, just to paint a picture. So, anyways, Amy started out inside Sonic CD, which is a prequel game to Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and stuff. And in there, as we know, she visits a little planet, ends up getting captured by Dr. Eggman and Metal Sonic and stuff. And then, she's rescued by Sonic by the end of the game. And then later on, Amy kind of reappears inside some of the spin-off games like Sonic R, Sonic Drift, and Sonic the Fighters and stuff. And in those games, like Amy wasn't like in particularly like strong or fast. So in Sonic R, she needed like an automobile, just like Dr. Eggman, to keep up with like some of the characters like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And then later on, Amy had to use a hammer and stuff, her Pico Pico hammer. I mean, I know she's always using her Pico Pico hammer, but she definitely had to rely on it or make up for it, make up for her strength inside Sonic the Fighters and stuff. Because again, she wasn't particularly strong. Whereas the other characters were just mostly using hand-to-hand stuff. Besides, I would say besides maybe Knack the Weasel and Being the Dynamite, they kind of also use inanimate objects as well, like bombs and guns and stuff. But anywho, but yeah, that's Amy from there. And then by the time inside Sonic Adventures 1, Amy kind of really grew in as a character and stuff. She had kind of she started sporting a new look, kind of got some new powers and stuff, and even got her own apartment inside Station Square. And then she kind of did her own thing inside Sonic Adventures 1, where she was helping out the little bird, Lily, and stuff, get back to her siblings. So that was pretty nice. Taking on Dr. Eggman and stuff, taking on Zero and whatnot. Yeah, it was pretty much a good look for Amy, right? So that was pretty much her history there. And then we already know what she did inside Sonic Adventures 2 and stuff. And then mostly a lot of people kind of had some problems with Amy going like I would say definitely in Sonic Heroes and stuff. Personally myself, I don't have too many gripes about Amy inside Sonic Heroes, but I'll probably talk about that in a second, why that's the case. But for a lot of people who don't like, they don't like Amy inside Sonic Heroes because they found her to be annoying, or they just, or this is kind of where I guess some of the problems kind of started, where the whole jealous yandere stuff kind of happened, or the whole she's gonna keep chasing Sonic and whatnot, and yeah, etc. That's kind of where all this might have originated from, or how that yeah, where it started. So anyways, yeah, so that's what happened. But anyways, I had to say, yeah, from like Sonic Adventures 1, I think Amy definitely went through a lot of development and stuff, like between CD and Sonic Adventures 1. Like I said, new look, new powers and stuff. Definitely got over, and definitely had matured into a better character. Then, like I said, in Sonic Heroes and stuff, it's just mostly her just hounding down Sonic and stuff. And then from those games on up to like Sonic Freeriders and stuff, Amy's character kind of fluctuated between being the nurturing girl type, like how she was inside Sonic 06, to being the jealous yandere, like she is presented inside like Sonic Rush, for example. I want to say her character became a lot more tolerable by the time inside the Colors era. But people kind of complained that she was boring and her personality was a stereotypical girl character. But people started liking her character more when the Sonic Boom TV show came out, where she wasn't as open about her feelings for Sonic and had some like solid episodes. I feel like this impacted her character going onwards, which is actually a smart move for the writers and stuff to retain this side of the character to keep her likable. So basically, Amy started out as the cute, shy girl to being more selfless and heroic. And then if you want to like really count the whole, the whole, yeah, chasing around Sonic stuff, I mean, you can probably just say that she's just frustrated that Sonic hasn't returned her feelings and stuff, back to just being one of his closest friends. And that's Amy's history and her development. So that's pretty much my verdict right there about Amy and like her history and her development. For the most part, I mean, the stuff about her chasing around Sonic and stuff. Personally, myself, I don't really count it, or obsessing over Sonic. I don't really count it as like straight up canon, because I feel like some of the stuff with Sonic and stuff can be a little inconsistent. Like some of the characters and stuff, or their characterizations and whatnot. Like I feel like her obsessing and chasing over Sonic and stuff is kind of like a weird retired trope of like kind of like how Knuckles gets tricked by Dr. Eggman constantly and ends up working for him and stuff. I feel like it's kind of like that. But again, I don't really think, uh, yeah. So I mean, I know I might be cherry picking here. That's just me, but first myself, I just don't think that's like really legitimate. But anywho, yeah. So I just felt like the IDW just kind of follows up from like what the games had already set up from like the Colors era and whatnot. That Amy was just one of Sonic's closest friends and whatnot. But if you want to be technical here and actually count the whole obsession or the whole chasing him and stuff, you could probably just say that Amy just got frustrated because she wasn't really too sure of what Sonic's feelings with her were, and she's gone out of her way to try and like to try and become stronger and impress him and whatnot, whatever. But point is, she ended up working her way back to just being one of his closest friends and whatnot, as we see inside Sonic Lost World and Sonic Colors and Generations and stuff, or Forces, like whatever. But anyways, yeah, so that kind of transitions into the IDW comics and stuff. So a lot of people, so here's the argument. So basically, a lot of people think that Amy is mostly a clone of Sally in the IDW comics because she's a leader and whatnot, as if Sally's like the pioneer of being the only female Sonic character who is a leader and whatnot. Like, come on, like, is that it? Like, that's the only reason why people are claiming that Amy is like a clone of Sally, and I feel like that's a really dumb reason for that. Like, that's just my, like, I'm not even just my opinion. That is a dumb reason for people to actually claim that this character is a clone of Sally because she's a leader. Like, what? So, and a lot of people, and there's been some examples of like actually of Amy leading before. Like, a lot of people say that Amy, it doesn't make sense for Amy to be a leader, even though there are plenty of examples that I could probably draw from. For example, the Fleetway comics. Like, in the Fleetway comics, that's the United Kingdom, the UK comics and stuff, but they're known mostly as the Fleetway comics because I believe that's the company. Anyways, the Fleetway comics, like, basically in that version, Amy is a little bit different from her game counterpart and stuff, and she's actually kind of a badass. Instead of using like her hammer and stuff, she actually uses like a crossbow, and sometimes she uses like, she uses her little crossbow and archery skills and stuff, which is pretty cool and whatnot. She's actually used this against like Dr. Eggman and stuff, and has actually managed to be a thorn in his side. She's actually defended off Green Hill Zone by herself, and she actually managed to trick Super Sonic, which is, yeah, Super Sonic is kind of evil in this version. And if you read the UK comics, he don't mess around. Amy actually got the best of Super Sonic from time to time. Not, of course, in a physical fight, because she'll get demolished, but she's like tricked him and stuff before and survived the onslaught. So that's pretty impressive and whatnot. And she's done that like through her leadership, because she's actually led the Freedom Fighters before. She's not the, like, like Sonic's the leader of the Freedom Fighters, but you know how sometimes Sonic will either go off on his own, or in his absence, Amy will be the one that's like second in command. And the Freedom Fighters are mostly just Tails, Johnny Lightfoot, and Porker Lewis and stuff. So yeah. So anyways, but yeah, the Fleetway comics, so definitely check it out in case you're interested. I mean, really, the Fleetway comics aren't for me, but who knows? Maybe I might do a video talking about like just not even just Amy, but even like Sonic and stuff and Tails, whatever. But anyways, besides the point. So yeah, the Fleetway comics, like, Amy was definitely a leader in there. I don't see nobody calling her a Sally clone. Or in the, what else? In Sonic Heroes, if you want to be technical, or if you want to talk about the canon and stuff, yeah, in Sonic Heroes, Amy was the leader of Team Rose. She led Team Rose and stuff, like, that's Cream and Big right there, against Metal Sonic and Dr. Eggman and whatnot, against some of their forces and whatnot. I mean, yeah, sure, they were trying to get back Cream, like, not Cream, Cheese's twin brother, Chicola, and Big's pet frog, Froggy. But that was kind of important because Metal Sonic needed Chaos's DNA to try and attain his Metal Overlord form and stuff, which that was the whole point. So that kind of makes Amy's like entire story actually important to the story and to Metal Sonic. So there is that. But anyways, but yeah. So my point is, yeah, Amy's already been a leader before. It's just now that she's like, doing some big things like leading the restoration and whatnot, is that people are like, and that Sally's just not in the comics anymore, is that, people are just like, Sally, and stuff. I mean, Amy's a Sally clone, and so I just feel like people are just being bitter. That's just my honest opinion. But, yeah, like, look, I'm not really too happy about the Freedom Fighters being shelved either, or at least I wasn't at first, and I'm not like really happy about it now. I'm just like, there's so much potential you can probably do with these characters, but I don't know. I just don't think, I don't think Amy's a clone of Sally or anything, and I don't think, this is totally out of character for her to be a leader out of like nowhere and stuff, even though she's led before and she definitely has the experience and definitely has like what it takes to be a good leader and stuff. Like, yeah. So I'll probably insert a few clips to kind of get my point across. So check it out.
I think we're lost.
This place is creepy. Come on, you guys. Don't you want to find Chocola and Froggy? We can do this.
I've got to get tough for all of us.
This weather reminds me of our last attack on the egg carrier. You've been in battle before? What? You kidding me?
So yeah, I mean, personally myself, I got nothing against Sonic Heroes, Amy, and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do, but personally myself, I honestly don't have any problems. I guess the infamous scene where a lot of people don't like Amy is mostly where Amy's trying to fight Sonic and stuff just to get her to just to get him to marry her and whatever and stuff. And I just think that's just a reason inside the plot, just to facilitate more fights between the teams during the stories and stuff. Because as we know, Team Sonic battles Team Rose, and then later on they go in and fight Team Dark and stuff throughout the game. And then it's kind of the same with the other teams and stuff as well. But anyways, I just feel like, yeah, that's just not like really important, or I just feel like, yeah, that's just like, bad writing right there. But I do think Sonic Heroes is a solid story. Just some of that stuff was just, just to instigate some stuff. Regardless though, I think Amy was a decent character inside Sonic Heroes and stuff. I think this is definitely where her leadership definitely is portrayed, and it kind of goes on a little further. It's not like Team Rose was just a one in a lifetime kind of thing. Amy's led Team Rose in like Team Sonic Racing. She's led them in the comics and stuff. She's led them in Sonic Riders. I mean, come on, just think. But anyways, yeah. So, and I feel like it's not even just like Amy who's just capable of being a good leader. Of course, Tails and Knuckles are very capable of being good leaders, like how they were inside Sonic X or Sonic Forces or Knuckles Chaotix and stuff. Like, they can lead and stuff. It's not like, it's just like, they can't, or it just goes against their character or whatever. Well, maybe, but still. And the whole thing about Amy like leading the restoration and stuff, I just feel like, I think that's actually a nice idea, because like, okay, like, and I think it kind of fits like character wise at least, because like, for example, because Knuckles inside Sonic Forces, and I might talk about that some other time too, because I've been thinking about that for a minute. But Knuckles inside Sonic Forces, he formed the resistance against Dr. Eggman and stuff. And basically after he finished up and stuff, Knuckles kind of went back to Angel Island and to protect the Master Emerald and stuff, like his normal duties. And that probably does seem like something Knuckles would probably do, without really taking into account how much that affects the team. He was just like, all right, well, God bless. And then he just like go off on his own. Yeah, sounds like Knuckles. But Amy, though, was like, all right, I can't leave this. Like, I can't leave all these people and stuff and just, I don't know, like this. So basically she took charge and whatnot. And it's not like she's taking charge of like, I don't know, Team Dark or Team Chaotix or anything. She's mostly just taking charge of a bunch of Mobians and stuff who have no legitimate like experience against Dr. Eggman or whatever, like stuff like that. So that's what I feel like Amy's like mostly leading and whatnot in the restoration, just trying to patch it up and stuff. And then she ended up dumping it on Jewel and stuff. Or I wouldn't say she dumped it on Jewel. She tried to make sure everything was all legit before she stepped down and had Jewel take control. And that just shows you that this wasn't going to be a permanent thing or anything. They just wanted to move past Sonic Forces and stuff. So yeah. But that's just me though. So yeah, Amy being a leader, I don't think that's out of character, and I don't think it's out of character for her to choose leading a bunch of Mobians and being the leader of the resistance or the restoration versus going off with Sonic, which, yeah, as much as she would love to go off with Sonic, you honestly think that Amy would forsake, like, she would rather be selfish and choose her own desires over the over just a bunch of other people who could probably use her, or not use her, but be in need of her services and stuff or whatever, like, or who are in need. Like, no. Amy's like, again, one of the most selfless characters in the series and whatnot. She's gone out of her way to like help out Silver when she was looking for Sonic back inside Sonic 06, and a ton, like, in a ton of other examples and stuff. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, come on. Just yeah, like, yeah, just think about it. Amy's actually a decent character, and she's of course one of my favorite characters because I talk about the character so much. But yeah. But anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed me talking about or just debunking this whole notion that Sally, or that Amy's a clone of Sally and stuff. I already think, like I said, I think it's pretty dumb anyways, but that's just me. Let me know what you think down below, whether you agree with me or disagree with me and stuff. Maybe we can have a good debate about it. Whatever. I'm very opinionated and kind of argumentative at the same time. But yeah, but that's the Keenest Fox. So anyways, I hope you guys like, share, and subscribe. This is Keenest Fox, and I'm out. Peace.